All right, I think your final is in really good shape. I think there's some, some minor tweaks and some changes, obviously, that I have for you. And yeah, again, I think you're in great shape. So we'll start with the overall layout. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Your overall layout is great. Let me make this a little smaller so we can, there we go. I think the first large image with this red works really nicely. You have a good balance between text and image that I think works well. You have a decent amount of movement, with bringing your eyes around with the images and again with the text. Again, sort of finishing with a large image and text balanced pretty well. I would say, again, just some minor visual tweaks just to sort of liven it up a little bit. And then some interactivity things I got to go over. And that's really it. Nothing major. Let me zoom in just a little bit. So some of the technical things, we're going to start with the page numbering. So the page numbering, if you look in the assignment description, is from page 32 to 37, which is an easy change. You can go into your document setup. So under File, Document Setup. And then under our Start page, you did it right in the way we've been doing it in class, to where, like, if you want a facing page spread, you have to start with an even number. So starting with page 2, physically in air quotes, was right. It's just the page numbering from the assignment's a little different. So really the only change here is you're just going to have your page start on page 32. And then I always hit tab just to make sure it goes through. And then that's really the only change. All of the other settings you had, great. So we're going to hit OK. Nothing looks different because all we did was just change information. Except if you go into your pages here, now you can see we have pages 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So they're automatically sort of on the back end going to rename and all that fun stuff. So now we just need to set up your page numbers here just so that they're active page numbers. And we did that a while back in our parent page assignment, but I'll show you very quickly. You can just select where you have this 1 here, and we're going to go under type, and we're going to insert a special character and then a marker, because technically a page is page number rather is a page marker. So we're going to go under markers and just select current page number, and you'll see, if I did this right, that 1 will turn into a 33 for the lamest magic trick ever. See, I told you it was lame because the box isn't big enough. We'll zoom in. Nope. And I'm going to grab this frame. Just make it a little bit bigger. And now you'll see it's a 33 instead of the page 1. And then you just need to do that. You need to do that with each of your pages. So if you select page 2 here, page 3 here, all that good stuff, and just make those your current page numbers. You might need to adjust your frame slightly, but that's about it. Or again, you can do, once you get this one set up, you can do a paste in place on this page and it'll be in the same exact spot, all that good stuff. So that's the technical sort of page number thing. We'll go in with the other interactivity technical stuff, and then I'll talk about design. So your buttons are great. We went over that in class a little bit. The only thing you need is your hyperlinks and bookmarks, both very easy. What you need also is the publication and the publication date. So somewhere in here, you could even bump up these, gets a little bit into design, but you could bump up these blocks of text a little bit and have like Rolling Stone and the publication here. And you can make that Rolling Stone your hyperlink to just have it go to Rolling Stone's website. So for argument's sake, let's say you want this, we'll pretend this is Rolling Stone. You want this to be your bookmark, or rather, sorry, hyperlink. So you just, literally, it's like any other online hyperlink. You select what you want to be your hyperlink. We go into hyperlinks. Oh, sorry, I should have told you as well. I forgot I changed it before. I would arrange your workspace. If you haven't, go into workspace and make sure you check interactive for PDF. I know I showed you in class, but just to remind you, under window, workspace, interactive for PDF, and then this brings up your options here. Sorry for the edit there. I was interrupted by a child. So anyway, going back to hyperlinks, effectively we'll say, let's say you leave yourself room here. I'm going to move this up a little bit to put in your publication and the publication date, which is Rolling Stone Magazine. And I forget what we have for the date. It's in the assignment description. So literally just leave yourself a little bit of room on the bottom here and you can make that your hyperlink. So in theory, let's say we want Dan Main's to be our hyperlink. You just highlight like anything, any other online link, to view again your interactivity options. You're going to go to window, set up your workspace for interactive for PDF. And then again, that brings up your hyperlink options, all that fun stuff. So you just highlight what you want to be the hyperlink. We'll click our tab for hyperlinks. And then I don't know if this is the actual address, but rolling, oops, no spaces, .com. And then we're going to hit enter. And then there's our hyperlink. You can double click it for options. There's the destination, any kind of appearance. I would leave all, you don't need to mess with all this, but just to show you the different appearances, the different types of rather URLs or different links you can have in there. You can have it linked to a file, an email, all that fun stuff. I'm just going to hit cancel here. There's the destination, all that fun stuff. If you want to rename it, oops. Oh, sorry. Since we highlighted text, we can't rename it because it just uses the text automatically. But anyway, that's for creating that hyperlink. It's literally just kind of like any other form. You highlight it, type the address in here and hit enter. And then you have your hyperlinks. You can make your Rolling Stone the hyperlink. So that way, when you copy and paste it in place on your other pages, it will continue to have that hyperlink info. So you don't have to redo it 3 times. Bookmarks are equally as easy. They're really just anchors. They're kind of like a hyperlink within the document. So again, you're just going to kind of select what you want, and you can make anything an anchor, a bookmark. It can be an image or it could be text. I'm just going to have it be text, and I'm just going to arbitrarily highlight this. If you want that to be a bookmark, let's go to our bookmarks tab, and we're just going to hit new bookmark, and then you can name it. It already names if it's highlighting text, and you see just created an anchor and our next page, and boom, you've created a bookmark. So you need a couple of those in your document. It's basically just little points to drive viewers to different points in a publication. For a 6-page publication, in this case, it doesn't really make sense. But it's more for, again, I use like the Ella Bean catalog example in class, whereas if you have like a 200-page document and I wanna go to men's jackets, I can just click that little bookmark in men's jackets. When you do export this and preview it, I would suggest that you look at it in Adobe Acrobat. Sometimes other PDF viewers don't play well. Like preview for Apple does not play well with bookmarks at all. I don't know why. Anyway, so that's bookmarks. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. You know how to do your buttons already, which is great. So just adding those 2 little elements of interactivity, and then we'll talk about packaging at the end. And then as far as your design, I talked about potentially livening up a little bit. The first major thing, actually, I would watch out for is be mindful that we're not stretching logos, because we're stretching logos and stretching images in a bunch of different places. So like this is more of a square image. So you want to make sure that when you're fitting your frames, that you're fitting it proportionally, right? So you're not stretching. Same thing, you're stretching this a little bit. You might have stretched Neil a little bit here. Definitely stretched him vertically there. But like this album is a little bit stretched. He's definitely stretched. That one not so much, but this one is a little bit. So there's a few things you can do to sort of liven it up. You're almost there. Like I said, like this page, I wouldn't touch too much. I would just make sure that you adjust your photos in your frames so that they're not stretched. You might even need to bump this one over a little bit, which would be fine. But you have good movement here. You know, the eye is sort of led around, which is really nice. All that good stuff. You know, you could potentially play with making this a little bit bigger, going into this frame a little bit. It might make the text awkward. It might not work. But overall, I think in general, except for adding those interactivity elements at the bottom and the publishing elements, which you can copy and paste from your first page, I think would work. This page works really well. This page, obviously, there's you know, there's a gap here. There's a couple different things you can do. You can potentially, I kind of like the idea how you had this image go across. If you wanted to, you could have this logo. Well, I guess we're not. Get a lot bigger and go across the whole thing. So we're going to fit frame proportionally. Okay. Maybe not this big. So now I'm holding shift when I'm resizing, so I don't completely, you'll have to pardon the kid noises in the background. My child is playing. But yeah, play around with this a little bit. Maybe see if you can get, since there's some nice transparency here, maybe even see if you can get that to stop, give or take, like in the second column here. Stop right at that gutter. And then again, fit the frame, fit content to frame. And then have this wrap, you know, or even move this frame up to here and then play around with your text a little bit. You could even make it a little bit larger. But, you know, I like the idea of having that, you know, create a sort of similar look as to this, you know what I mean? So as far as design, again, I think maybe doing a couple things like that to sort of liven it up a little bit, and then again adding your interactive elements, and I think you're pretty much there. You know, I think overall it's well done. As far as exporting, there is a video on packaging, but basically you're just sort of doing a save as, except you're going to go down to package, which is almost all the way down to the bottom. Brings up a contextual menu just like any kind of save document window does. I'm getting this error message because I have the links on my computer. I didn't bother to link them. So it's telling me I have missing links. You're not going to have that problem when you package. And it gives you any fonts that you use. It'll package those. Any links and images, it'll package those. All that fun stuff. You don't really have to play around with this too much unless you get some kind of error. Then you're just going to hit package, and it's kind of like save as. Oh yeah, it's telling me I hadn't saved since I did these changes, which is fine. I'm just going to save that right on my desktop. That's great. Oops, cancel. I'm just going to put an X there to make it a different document. Hit save. So now it's telling you to create a package folder. So basically you're just naming your folder, and you can call it, you know, Moors A, final package, whatever. And then you're going to leave all of this, right? So it's going to copy all of the things, fonts, linked images, update graphic links and packages, all that fun stuff. Unfortunately, this is where we're going to have to do another export. Unfortunately, I don't know why when you package, it doesn't allow you to package for interactivity. So you're just going to leave it as a high quality print PDF, and then you're going to hit package, and then this is just talking about copying software, blah, 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 fair use. You can ignore this. Hit OK. Yours may or may not show that because I haven't packaged on this machine yet. Anyway, so it's telling us we have overset. This is a good warning. It's telling us that we have overset text, which basically means that we have too much text for some of the boxes. So I'd make sure that your copy is linked in there properly and threaded between text frames. So just make sure. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Links to files that are missing or modified, that's fine. This won't come up for you. And then it's basically going to create this folder. So here's our folder. And then you can see it's got your draft. It's got the markup language. It's got your InDesign file, and it's got the PDF. It didn't collect all the other stuff because I was actually missing it, but it will create folders that will create fonts and image folders and things like that. I am missing them. I didn't download them. I was missing them. So kind of like in James's, you can see you'll have these extra folders here, this document fonts and the links. You'll have that extra folder there when you actually do it. Like I said, I don't have them on my computer, so I didn't have them. Then lastly, you're going to do an export for interactivity, which in InDesign, again, we just do a file and we do an export. And then here where it says print, we're going to do export for interactive, and you can call this just INT. And then you can even save it right in that, excuse me, you can save it right in that package that we created, just right in here, as long as it's a different name than this, and then hit save. And then you can just leave all of this exactly how it is, then hit export, and then it's going to tell you the overset text thing, then hit OK. And then missing stuff which you don't have to worry about, and then missing stuff which you don't have to worry about. And then it'll create a interactive PDF eventually. Oh, it wants to open it automatically too. There you go. So it opens it automatically. Okay. And then I don't think we have, oh yeah, there's our bookmark. There's our pages, all that good stuff. Acrobat needs an update. All that fun stuff. So you just have to export that one extra time for interactivity to have that interactive PDF. And then I'm going to hide InDesign. And then when you go into your folder, again, you can just, you'll have to zip all of the items in here or submit them like one by one. I don't think Brightspace will allow you to upload a complete folder, but if you just wanted to upload all the files one by one, all that good stuff, or if you know how to compress to zip the file, you can on Apple. I'm not sure how it is on PCs, but on Apple you can just kind of select multiple items, and then you just have a compress option, and it automatically creates a zip file. I'm not sure how it does it on PC, but I'm sure there's a way you can like right-click those and create a compressed file, and you can submit that zip file or whatever the compressed file is. And that's basically it. I know that was kind of a lot, but hopefully that helps. Like I said, you're on track to having a great final project. I'm looking forward to see what you do.